Right. The next speaker is Sodrin. He is an architect and an engineering lead here at Levi9 as well. And the topic is going to be the following. It sounds as follows: AI for all, hosting your own free LLM. Free is very important here, isn't it? So Coldren is going to showcase how to use open source AI like Meta's Llama 3.1 model to run your own local ChatGPT powered chat and then demo AI assisted coding for free. Well, it's going to be near free, isn't it? I mean, there's nothing that is free, as they say, but we'll see how that goes. So we'll also explore the current state of open source AI tools and stable diffusion and things like that. So there's going to be a few of them. Another aspect of the speech is going to be how the limitations are going to impact the future and the potentiality, how this is going to go. The reminder is to use Slido to ask questions. There's going to be another link for Slido, just a heads up. And again, after the Q&A session, the best question is going to receive a prize. The person that asked that question is going to receive a prize. And Coldren is the one who is going to choose the best question. So, Coldren, I welcome you to the stage. Hey.
Hello. Hey everyone. Nice to meet you. Today we are. I'm very. First of all, I'm very excited to be here, even virtually. It's my first time having a talk in for the Ukrainian audience. So yeah, thank you for having me here. So all right, let's get this started then. Like Dmytro said, I'm Kodrin. I'm an engineering lead at Levi9. I have more than a decade of experience, and I consider myself like a hacker of all things. I used to work on free AWS case studies, and sometimes I cook because, people have to eat, right? Good. And one of my one of the topics that constantly interested me during the years is machine learning. Machine learning, or nowadays mostly called AI or something with AI in it, is a domain where a lot of research has happened for a while, but mostly on a academic setting. So there were like research papers. People with a lot of education were reading those papers, enhancing them, making their own trials, models, and things like that. And we as engineers, mostly we would work with so-called with the data scientists that would create these models, and we would then write code around them to most importantly do recommenders. Recommenders are basically what the technology that is used to recommend you things, from videos of cats on Instagram to products you buy on online and like search results that you see as well. But this was hard. The science behind it was really hard. A lot of mathematics, a lot of statistics. It required a lot of one's investment in learning this. So I would love to know more, but like I said, there's a lot of science here, and I'm an engineer. I'm not a scientist, to say like that. Good. And then at some point, the technology evolved. Python grew, and the libraries around Python also developed. And sometimes in 2018, 2016 or something like that, we had YOLO. YOLO was really cool because it used the libraries like Pandas, NumPy, and others to be able to do real-time object detection. And I remember seeing this movie on YouTube, and I was amazed. But that was like more than a decade ago. It was pretty cool, and it kind of worked. If you remember Silicon Valley, then you know it worked. Good. But then something really big happened. Something that put YOLO, and everything before it in the so-called prehistoric era of machine learning. So everything that we knew up until that point was instantly moved into prehistoric era. Because a paper by Google called Attention is All You Need introduced attention mechanisms. This is a really complicated way of basically adding context to text, to the words surrounding other words. And that means, in more basic terms, as you know, of course, it means that recommenders can basically now generate code and words based on the context. So basically, they have like memory. It's not memory, but it's a it's something quite similar. And this is where we are now. This is called like the generative era. Transformers took everything and took over, and we could then suddenly use things like OpenAI's GPT-3 and Google's BERT, until people were aware, more and more people were aware of the existence of this technology. People started using it, and with more users, also became a great desire to monetize things. And that's when Gen AI kind of stopped being free. As some of you might know already, OpenAI created ChatGPT. The usage is paid. Model is closed source. We don't know how it works or how it's built. Google has DALL-E, or had DALL-E before ChatGPT, also a closed source model that you also have to pay to get more credits to use it. And then 2 years ago, Microsoft invests $10 billion into OpenAI. At that point, that was the largest investment in AI ever that I was aware of. And that meant that a lot of people started investing even more money into AI, because that was the next great thing, as you all know. But then we have a problem. Using AI, because I want to use AI. I've been using it for the past 2 years. I use it in my daily work, both in coding and in writing all sorts of things I need to write. But they cost money, and I'm from the Balkans, so I'm poor. I don't have money. I don't want to pay. Then the second part is that most of these models, they live in some cloud somewhere, and unless you pay more to get like some special licenses, your code and your prompts are being used for further enhancement of those models. And in a commercial setting, this kind of doesn't sound so right. If you agree, right? Because our customers' code is proprietary, so sending it to some random provider, just doesn't work. But then 2 years ago, like I said, Stable Diffusion appeared. That was an open source model, basically a complete ripoff of DALL-E, that allowed you to generate images locally or on any hardware. And it was free. It was really good. It still is really good, and it is being actively developed. And then Meta, or Facebook, appeared and open sourced Llama. Llama is their alternative to ChatGPT, which is quite good, quite competent, and it was made available completely free, so everyone everywhere could use it. In the same period, Facebook also launched CodeLlama, which allowed us to write code, to use Llama for code, but you don't actually need that, as I will try to show you a bit later. Good. So one really cool application of all this technology and generative AI is in coding. You can, because as you probably already used some of them or have used some of these tools in the past, they are quite nicely integrated with our IDEs. So they live right in the code, and they generate code as you type, sometimes with better results, sometimes with less than great results. But hey, if like 2 suggestions out of 5 are good, I'm happy. It's good enough. So and this ecosystem simply exploded. There's now tens, if not hundreds, of different models that we can choose from, all open source and all free, just how I like it. Good. And then one guy created Llama C++. This is basically the technology that is being used by pretty much everyone nowadays in order to run these Gen AI models. And of course, this is also open source, and it's written in C++. Nice. But even with all the generative AI in the world, I'm still afraid to write C++ and, God forbid, try to build a C++ project. So yeah, maybe there is an even better way. And there is. This is called Ollama. So now, if you go online, you just search for Ollama. All you have to do is click download, and you have a Llama CPP instance running locally on your computer. It can work on anything. So it can work on a Mac, a Windows laptop with or no dedicated GPU. It can work on I don't know, your phone, everything. Well, or versions of Llama CPP. We have been using it, or I have been using it on my Mac and on my desktop, which has like an RTX GPU. If you have an NVIDIA card, the speed and performance will be way improved, but it works quite nicely on a Mac as well, as you will see shortly. Good. And this is how it looks like. Let's share a browser. So basically, once we have installed Llama, we can also set up extra additional software, like this ripoff of ChatGPT. And then, as you probably already have been using it in some other form, you can basically start a conversation with it all locally. You can see it runs on my machine. It's quite fast. Maybe in some instances even faster than using ChatGPT, because it there is no like latency, because it all runs locally. So you can use it as like general chat, all for free. It's really good. This one uses the Llama 3.2 model, which is pretty much the latest Facebook released. But there's the option to choose between all models that you have running locally. So yeah, you can ask, you can continue the conversation, you can save it for later. Very nice. You can also have like different prompts that you can download and use. Very cool community. I highly recommend to you to go join it, and it's quite nice actually. I basically use a version of this Llama 3.2 at work pretty much every day, and it works quite well, and it's all completely free and secure. So there's no real need to basically ask for permission or get legal acceptance before starting to use it. So you can just use it because it's all locally. It's exactly like you would use a code formatter. So there's no problem whatsoever. Cool. back to our slides. So now the second part of using Ollama has a separate tooling outside of the browser, in that we can use an extension called Continue Dev, which is really good. That works in Visual Studio Code and JetBrains, any JetBrains editor, to basically generate code and also like have this nice chat interface in your editor. So let's bring that up too and see if it works. Okay. So this is my my editor. Hope it's large enough. So basically, first of all, you can add some prompts, whatever you want here. Generate an array of 5 mock users in Python, and it will hopefully work. It basically starts generating exactly like you would well, hopefully expect. But this is also nice because you have like code completion in your editor close to where the action is, so you can do things like this. Or the second part, which I also like very much. This is like a disclaimer. This is a very simple code, so there's not much that I can demo, but hopefully you get the idea. So basically, I have like a numbers array. Say if I want to do like to calculate the even numbers in the array, you will see that as soon as I type the evens, it basically generates the entire code for me. And well, pardon my Python, but I think it actually works. Yeah, the same happens in JavaScript as well. So there's no limitation to the programming language that you can use. There are, I mean, of course, there are, because the size is a limit. We're not like not all programming languages are included. Some of them are missing, but you get pretty decent results if you code in like popular programming languages. So that should work just fine. Cool. So yeah, this is basically if you heard about Continue Dev, this is like a really this is basically the technology behind Cursor. So Cursor is like a more integrated a better built integration between Ollama and Continue Dev. It's very similar. If you were to use Cursor, you would probably see some similarities here. But there's also cool things like you can add the entire project to the context, and it will also try to have context across multiple files. Good. Next. So yeah, like I said, this works for Visual Studio Code and JetBrains. Sorry, there's no Visual Studio.NET support. Good. Even better, like I said, this one I want demo because it takes quite some time to generate. On my Mac, to generate an image is basically around between 1 to 3 minutes, but that's because I don't have a dedicated RTX GPU. But if I were to have like an NVIDIA card, you would be able to see that you can generate images in seconds, which is about the same speed as the like Copilot or ChatGPT have. Good. And yeah, if you want to know more, and I highly encourage you to go check out Reddit, of course, because where else? Like I said, yeah, I'm a programmer. I don't have time to read books on about data science and AI. But jokes aside, the local llama, that's a really, really great community. They have all sorts of benchmarks, all sorts of leaderboards, so you can basically go there and quickly find a lot of information if you're stuck, or if you have any questions or curiosities. There's also Hugging Face. On Hugging Face, we have there's also like a nice AI community. There's a lot of cool content, and where you can do like a deep dive into learning this. There are also other alternatives to running everything locally, because if you have like a pretty crappy PC or laptop, well, you will have like a pretty slow speed, but still not terrible. You can also pay for hosted GPU in like Volt or Vest AI. It's this one can get pricey. We're talking like it can get to like euros per hour, but or even more. But it allows you to try out things if you have like more serious scenarios. Now, hope you liked it. And basically, the way I see this compared to ChatGPT or Copilot or whatever is that you don't need an internet connection. Everything is like 100% private. Completions are sometimes a lot faster than online. And price, it's free. But because this is like open source, it's exactly like Linux versus Windows, right? Things work maybe better, but they don't look as polished as like ChatGPT. So you might get I guess more accurate results on ChatGPT. But again, Llama 3.2 is really close to ChatGPT. They're like on par or even better in some scenarios, from what I know from looking at the benchmarks. And of course, you need some powerful hardware to run it properly. And especially like if you want to have like the browser interface where you chat and everything, you have to also play around with like things like Docker and running a container and things like that. But again, the community is super helpful. There's a lot of documentation, so you can hopefully find the answers that you need online. This solution actually was so working so well. It pretty much completely blew my expectations. And a few months later, we actually Levi9 in Romania, my company actually bought or gave me money to buy a nice RTX graphics card with like all the hardware around it. We built a really cool looking desktop, and we've called it Levin. And now everyone in my company uses it locally for work. We have around close to like a quarter of our colleagues that are using it on a daily or weekly basis. So it's quite popular, and hopefully it will become even more popular moving forward. This hardware is not like really high end. It's like a mid-range or like low-range gaming grade desktop. So it can run games, but it can also run local AI and generative AI models on it. Pretty cool. Yes, and this is basically what you get if you generate images around. You want to generate images around Llama. Thank you very much, and keep on being awesome. And if there are any questions, let me know.
Perfect. Thank you, Corinne, for the presentation and for the
you.
speech in general. I mean, Lovely as always. We do have some questions, indeed. The audience has got a few. And let's try and go through them, at least through some of them. Just take a look at the time. Yes, we do have time. Lovely, lovely. So the first question is going to be the following. So what is the best way to connect a model like this to the outside world? And are there any security threats?
Very good question. Because this Olama exposes like an API, you would expose it to the public exactly like you do with like a regular API. So ideally through some dedicated web server like Nginx. That's how we did it. We put Nginx on top. We have different routes. We have a separate route for code completion and another one for the web interface. So you just go to whatever you need. And yeah, basically anything other than Nginx you don't need. There is a authentication support. So you can have like basic authentication on the web interface for the code generation part. There is also some way of securing it either with like API keys or other scenarios. But usually because you run this locally or in some closed environment, that's not such a huge issue. But if you want to explode it publicly, like make a service out of it, then yeah, you would probably need to look into how to secure an API like any other.
Lovely. All right, let's try a slightly different one. So the question is the following. Have you tried using any other RAGs, right, in your rugs? So, for example, your calendars, photos, etc., to make it a real private AI assistant?
Yeah, not me. I have a data scientist that is actively training rugs using the desktop. We have been using it for summarizing documents for one of our customers. We did a POC around that with pretty good results from what I saw. But for pictures, not yet. We're not that advanced yet. You need serious hardware
Right.
to handle pictures and videos.
That makes sense. All right, let's do the slightly different one, which I like already. So when Llama generates code, can it explain the reason behind writing code in the same on the way it did? So will the explanation will be as good as from Bjorn Straustrup, right? Well, the creator of C++,
Yes.
obviously.
Yeah, indeed. Because it has context, it will try to, create a phrase around the reasoning behind the generated code. And most of the times you will see it is pretty much accurate because especially like if you do like long conversations like I do, I have like prompts for certain workloads where I have like tens or hundreds of questions. You always are able to use the context of the entire conversation, both for code. Well, again, because code is much more strict than like regular words, you will have to double check and sanity check the generated code always, of course.
Right.
That's a good question.
Yeah, let's do a slightly different one then. So, and it goes as follows. So you run the 8B model on a laptop. Is that correct? If that's the
Yes.
case, so what's the video card and what's the average token per second?
Yeah, it's pretty low actually. On a Mac, you don't get a lot of tokens per second. I think it's under 10 or something like that. I use this is like a Mac with like an M1 Pro, so not that heavy on GPU, because the cool part about Llama and Llama C++ is that it offloads to the CPU. If there's no more available graphics memory, it will simply offload to regular RAM and CPU. So that's how I'm able to
Right.
run HB model here.
That makes sense. Thanks. Right. So there's the last question that we can cover before going to the next part of our meetup, and the question is as follows. So what could be the advantages other than, well, payments and privacy of using commercial services versus, well, your own LLM?
That is the really, really great question. That's exactly what I ask myself and what I discuss, including Dima here and with other people in Levi9. Like, if we have things for free, why should we pay for this technology? Well, of course, there's accuracy because it's not like ChatGPT simply takes your money and gives you the exact same quality as you get for free. So there are like highly skilled developers and scientists that actually work to improve the results and fine tune and cover all sorts of workloads. So I guess, of course, the quality might be higher. But my question is, like, if you use local AI and 6 out of 10 suggestions are good, and then you use something like Codium or ChatGPT, and you get 7 suggestions out of 10 correct, that's like 60% over 70%. So I'll take 60% if it's free. That's me, but others might be more, might have a desire to be more accurate. So I guess they will choose to pay. But it depends on what you want. And there's actually a lot of the paid ones have some sort of free trials, free tiers. So you could also evaluate some of them and see if there are any differences. Most likely there will be.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for the answers. So now there's the final question to you, so to speak, before we switch. Is, of course, based on the best answer, you would like to provide the person who asked the best answer, well, based on your opinion, of course, with the backpack, with a little gift. So was there any particular question that you like the most? I can list the questions if you can't remember. So
it's a tie between the question about tokens per second generated on my Mac and how come I can run HB tokens. So and the last question with paid versus free, but I will go with the HB because of extra attention to details in the question. So yeah, congrats on the backpack.
Lovely. Yeah, thank you. So the author of the question, do contact us how to get the present. Lovely. Thank you so much for your time, Codrain. Thank you so much for the knowledge that you brought, obviously, and for answering the question that we had prepared for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and enjoy what's coming next in the talks. Bye bye. Take care. Good evening.